Good morning, mob family. How's everyone going? Oh, let me do the lag test real quick. Let's see. Who is going to get chosen? Let's do Paige's wave. Let's see how long it's going to take to come up. Not too bad. Okay. Hello, Paige. All right, so the lag test is we're not too laggy, which is excellent. We will have no technical difficulties today. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to MoB Kaffeeklatsch, episode 155. Let me go back and say hello to everybody. Okay, here we go. Hello, Enid. Chris Mendoza. Good morning. Connie, welcome. Let's see who else is Heather. Good morning. Paige, wave. Hello, Paige. Did you read your eulogy, right, Paige? Ooh, my God. And the comments on the eulogies. Let's see. Yeah, it's 155 shows done every 2 weeks. Calculate that because that's a lot of years. We can discuss. Okay, so we can discuss the beginning of Nemesis. If you have questions. Bruin Shoe is done and out. I had a lot of fun writing that. Let's see. Okay, hold on. All right. And I don't want to get into too much Nemesis discussion. Hold on a second. Just getting things settled here. Not too much because this book just started. Frozen Fire is almost done, which is the third book in the Fate of the Dark Mages. Dolly, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Just right over there. So I say, yes. I got really good at my ventriloquist act. So I bet you, watch this. I'm such an amazing ventriloquist. I can be speaking and I can have two voices at the same time. Right, Dolly? Right. See? That's how good I am. It's not a dragon t-shirt. It is a samurai panda bear. You guys can see it? There it is. It's really well made. And it's made for it was a design done for veterans. That's why I got it. So for veterans, suicide prevention. So to bring alertness to veterans, I guess. So it's like veterans are warriors, and the company that did this was Barefoot, which is a company that does zero drop shoes, and they wanted to do something for the veterans and the tragedy of them losing their lives, And so they created this shirt, and I bought it because it was to support veterans committing suicide. So, yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I like it too. Good morning, Jeanette. Welcome. It's really early morning. Fluff Chick. Good morning. It's very I don't usually wear colors. Dolly likes when I wear these kind of colors. I usually wear very dark colors. Every so often I'll be colorful, Yeah, 155 is a lot of shows. So welcome to all of you that are here. Thank you for being here today. You guys are awesome. Let's do a shout out. So on YouTube, hello Audrey and welcome. Keeping that question streak going. Support us at Ben Peaches Publishing. So on YouTube, we're at Ben Peaches Publishing. The CWWs will not start again before Dolly gives me side eye. Hold on. Let me get the mic a little closer. Let's just talk, you and me. Okay. We're talking now, just me and you. No one else can hear us. Dolly can't hear us right now. Can you hear us, Dolly? She can't hear us. CWWs may start next month. We'll see. I'm working on a different format. You give me side eye? There's some side eye there. Welcome, Richard. You made it. Yes, I'm a big. My sister's a veteran, so we have a lot of veterans in the family. I didn't go because I knew that if I had joined the military, there was a dishonorable discharge in my future. I have had real issues with authority at that age, and I knew it wasn't going to work. But my sister joined, and she retired. She's retired Navy, and so she did her 20 years, I think it was, 25. She did a lot of years. She's out. She still works kind of for like the Navy. But she's NCL, non-commissioned. She's not a military anymore. Well, I think you're military no matter what. Like Marines are always Marines no matter what, even when they retire. But you know. Good morning, Tamra. Welcome. I'm gonna say good morning. You can take it and apply it to the time zone that you're in. Okay, because I know Jeanette, if I say good morning, it's morning, but it's like she's on the other side of the world. And there are a few of you that are spread out all over the place. So welcome. And I think that's Miss Dawn. Hello, Dawn. I hope the group is doing. I don't know if I've answered your questions lately because I've been kind of running around doing a whole bunch of stuff, but I will get to them if you have any questions that you've sent me, Dawn. Please say hello to the entire crew. Let's see. So on YouTube, please support us on Ben Peaches Publishing, at Ben Peaches Publishing, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe, the notification bell, and it increases our numbers. And please share the channel. In regards to the CWW, it's going to go a little brand renaming, and the channel is going to change a little, and I'm going to kind of change its focus just a bit to something that I can do easily, and it'll be like a once a week thing. So it's in the process. Give me some time, but we'll get back to it. I'm on Instagram, but basically I'm putting up like scary faces on my Instagram of when I train in the morning at 4 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning. I'm up training, and then usually if I hit a PR, I'll put my face up on my Instagram and scare people. You can use it to scare people. On Zazzle, we have Brew and Chew swag on Zazzle. On Instagram, we're at Ben Peaches on Instagram, so go find us there and follow, please. This is our Instagram link. See, StreamYard is going to be super awesome, and put it up right away. Boom, like I said. So that's our link. Go find us on Instagram and follow. Good morning, Laura. Welcome. On Zazzle, we have Brew and Chew swag, which is new, which is fantastic. I'm so tempted to get there's a fleece blanket on Zazzle. It's the Brew and Chew blanket. It looks amazing. Excuse me. So I really, really want to get that. No, I'm gonna figure out a way to get that because it looks really amazing. So go get your swag on Zazzle. We have a lot there, and we have new swag for Brew and Chew. Go grab it. Zazzle, we're at M&S, so EMANDES. This is our Zazzle link. Please don't forget to use it. The reference number helps us. Oh wow, Zazzle, Pina and Cece, look at that. I don't know. These designers are amazing. So I don't know what to tell you. They're just working behind the scenes, creating amazing stuff. It's incredible. All right, let me just get this one done as quick as I can, because our Patreon is exploding. So I want to thank all of you for sharing, for participating, for supporting. You guys are amazing. I cannot thank you enough. My gratitude to you is bottomless gratitude. So here's our Patreon link. Please share it when you can with people and let them know that there are amazing stories on our Patreon. Our new members, new patrons, David Mitchell, Sheila Bright Coleman, is Heather Pleska, Brenda Jernigan. If I'm mangling your name, I apologize. Morigana Ravensong, Jim, Iron Pyro, and these members upgraded their membership to tiers, so they went up in tiers. So Vandana Kalyan, William Hott, JF, EA, and Robin J. Henderson. Thank you all for your amazing support and participating in the Patreon and our Patreon page. You guys are incredible. I really, really appreciate you. And, I'll keep creating amazing stories. I've been writing some stuff for Patreon that I'm like, whoa. So please keep joining us and keep, there's just so much stuff on there so many ideas that I'm going to put on the Patreon. So in addition to the books that I'm creating a lot of stuff just for Patreon. TMM is an exclusive Patreon story. So there you go. All right. We promo our new authors. So we're going to promo John Logson has a new book out. I think there was a snafu there with the release, but it's out now. So the third book, do we have the link? I forget the name of the book. But I know I saw the email that the third book is out. So you know what it is. SOIA. Here's the link. Thank you, Chris. Technomancy FTW. The Roswell book 3. There you go. That's the link. Go get the third book in the series. And I heard from the designers. I heard back, and they said that they're working on a design for my "We Support Our Indie Authors" T-shirt. They told me it's in the works, and so I am patiently waiting. At this point, you can't make it because this is like running. So the name of the book is Abducted. So since we support our indie authors, and I want to rock that on a T-shirt, but I'm gonna get design proofs at some point in the future. They told me at some point, and yeah, so I'm waiting for the proofs, and then once I get the proofs, I'll approve one of the many amazing designs that they're going to create, and then at some point you're gonna see me in a Kaffeeklatsch with "We Support Our Indie Authors" T-shirt, because that's what we do. We support our indie authors. So please go to this link and hello Wendy, welcome, and get your copy of PPD Roswell Book 3 Abducted. I'm going to take the link off now because it's taking up a lot of space on the screen. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Okay, should I get into the updates? What time is it? Oh, we got time. All right. Any questions are there any unresolved questions, comments, statements about Deadeye? Because I'm in Nemesis now. So if there's something that's unresolved for you, this would be a good time to tell me so I can address it in Nemesis, right? Jeanette's asking me, now that you're ready for romance, can I tempt you to come down under to RARR? Is that like a pirate group? Oh, Rare 27. Is that like a pirate thing? Rawr. Or is that like a con in Australia? Okay. Is that romance authors really excited? What is that? Really amazing romance excitement. Is that what Rare stands for? I'm not big on these romance cons. So I don't know. I know it's probably really big. 2027. I don't know. You want to go to Australia in 2027? Maybe. Sounds like a good year to go to Australia. But see, here's the thing. I keep hearing that everything in Australia is trying to kill you. I don't know. Every show that I've seen, the 72 most dangerous creatures in Australia, and all these things that happen. All the animals, all the creatures, everything over there is trying to like take you out. So I don't know, Jeanette. Is this a good con? I only say this. Look, here's the thing. I went to 20 books to 50K. Oh, romance and reader event. Okay. I went to 20 books to 50K, which was in Las Vegas for 2 years. I went 2 years, right? Twice. And after that, I was like, I'm not. Anthony, welcome. I'm not feeling this as much. There were several reasons that I wasn't. It didn't attract me. And Dolly can tell you, I'm not really big on travel. She keeps telling me all we need is like one big room and I'm good, because that's me. For her, it's a victory when she gets me out of the house. Put it that way. Let's see. Anthony says, author sense that a romance con is like peaches at a vegan buffet. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so true. And so I don't know how I would fit in a romance con because, I don't really write romance. Even Frozen Fire, which I want to say about 3/4 of the way in Frozen Fire. The romance, have you seen any romance in Frozen Fire? It's there. It's subtle. It's really subtle. So I don't know if I could qualify as a romance writer. Maybe by 2027 maybe by 2027 there'll be some romance in the Fate of the Dark Maiden. By then there should be. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't see us going to Australia, but you never know. I'm never gonna say never. We'll see. I'll say we'll see. I'm glad you liked it, Don. I had a lot of fun writing it, and it really went wild. It went feral. Deadeye really went feral. And Nemesis, I'll put it to you like this. The guys, the trio went to Brema, went to Mirkwood. I still haven't gotten them back to New York City, and I'm on chapter. What chapter am I on Nemesis? Like 5, 6. I'm on chapter 5, and I still haven't gotten them back to New York so they can start dealing with Dira. That's what's happening in Nemesis. I'm just kind of letting Nemesis do what it needs to do at this point. I'm not even fighting it at this point. So like, it's got to make sense. It's got to stay within the story and try not to go too crazy. And that's basically what's happening with that story. It's becoming a lot of fun. Some amazing parts. Right now, I'll give you a little behind the scenes. They're fighting a creature called the Watcher, which is the I want to say creation of a goddess named Sin, Syn. And if you know who that is, you'll kind of understand what's happening. That's all. That's all I'm going to give you as a hint. But they have to get somewhere, and this creature's in the way because this creature is designed to prevent people who don't belong where they are from entry. That's about it. Okay. Anthony asks, is romance from a happily married man redundant? Inquiring minds would like to know. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question, though. Yeah, I don't. Listen, it's not always easy over the time, the long time frame. You got to be willing to make it work, and it's hard work sometimes. But I don't know if it's worthy of romance. It's a little bit different thing. A Peaches and Rags date story. Jeez, that's it's basically Rags ragging on Peaches for the whole story. Yeah. Jeanette says, imagine a large conference area with a lot of people buying lots of books. Halls of 100+ books are being. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, because romance readers are voracious, so they will read like crazy. Yeah. Sin is in the north. No, sorry, the Norse pantheon. She is the handmaiden of, I want to say, Frigg. So that's definitely Norse. Hello, Rebecca, and welcome. So yes, I'm missing something. Oh, here we go. Okay, something got crunched here. Is it because the screen is crunched? No, that's the right way of spelling her name. It's Syn. Yeah, that's not the wrong way. That's the right way. So yeah, romance like your action pack. Dawn said something, but I can't see what she said because it got crushed here. Yeah, but Dawn, I don't try to write for everyone, obviously, because you can't write for everyone. I try to write the stories that I would like to read, right? But Fate of the Dark Mages is supposed to be a romantasy. The problem is that the urban fantasy in me is having a real hard time with the romantasy. But there's hope because I'm only on book 3. I think I slated Fate of the Dark Mages for 10 books. So there's hope that some romantasy will end up. Right now, they're enemies, and they were enemies before, but right now, it's like mortal enemies. So that's good because what is it? Enemies to lovers? That's the trope. We're getting enemies to lovers. We'll start with enemies, and we'll get them to lovers maybe by book 9. So we'll see. Yeah, Wendy, what can I tell you? Peaches has, what's that, unrequited love? Unrequited love. That's Peaches. Because Rags is too busy protecting Cece. She has no time for Peaches and his puppy dog love. That's really puppy dog love. That's it, yeah. Hello, Anne, and welcome. Welcome, Anne. So if you have any questions about Deadeye or any statements or anything you want to say about Deadeye, this is a great time to say because by now I hope everyone has read Deadeye. And I'm working on Nemesis. So if you have something that you'd like to kind of point out or say or share about Deadeye that could pertain to where it's going, yeah, this is great because now we're talking. So you can tell me and I can kind of put it into Nemesis if it's something that needs to be addressed. Yes, and they called it puppy love. This is really puppy love. Rag. Poor Peach. I feel bad for Peaches sometimes because he'll make those observations like I looked into her beautiful eyes or she looked so brilliant or she looked really tough and yeah. So Jeanette asks, is posting chapters of the work in progress to Patreon impacting how stories are evolving? I want to say no, because I don't know, babe. You see it changing the story much? No, right? Not really. I think it's just I think. Yeah, can you clarify? Because the story is not going to change just because the chapters are posted after I've written them. I'm not posting the chapters with the thought of, oh, this has to go up on Patreon. They're just going up on Patreon because it's what's offered to the patrons, right? Yeah, exactly. I hope you guys can hear what Dolly's saying. If I'm going to write something different, I'll just write something different. It's not, but it doesn't change the story at all. No. Oh, you're still unsure about what makes a Deadeye special?
Maybe she means with feedback. I mean that, yes.
Yeah, the feedback is good, but it's good.
And before Deadeye,
Yeah,
changed it based on feedback
from the Patreon, from the patrons, right? Yeah, the ending for Deadeye did change because of the feedback, but it changed in a positive way, which is good. So that getting that feedback early is really good. So in that sense, yes, it can change how the stories evolve, in the sense of kind of getting a feel where the story might be going, but it doesn't change the overall nature of the story. So no. Hannah in Love, yeah, that's not happening, Rebecca. It's a great story, but first of all, with who? And second, they wouldn't survive, Hannah. That's really not gonna happen. What makes a Deadeye special? Oh, I don't know if I could address that without spoiling today. But it would be addressed in Nemesis because it does come up. Remember, everything has to come back to a circle to what happened in Deadeye. So it does come back, yeah. This is true. Anthony says the Rags and Peaches romance is by far a more realistic love story than any Harlequin bodice ripper out there. I agree, because if you read Brew and Chew, you'll see, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you will see that Rags does have concerns about Peaches. She's just not very overt about it. The Robustified chapters, how does that impact arcs? It doesn't. The Robustified chapters are basically, I write a chapter, I'll put it up on Patreon, and then when I write the next chapter, what I usually do, and this is part of my writing process, is I go back one chapter to kind of review, and inevitably, as I review, I make changes, and so you get a Robustified chapter that way, and then that chapter ends up being the chapter that ends up in the book. So the Robustified chapters don't impact the arcs at all because those Robustified chapters are the ones that end up. It's like the final version of what ends up in the actual book itself. So they don't change anything in the sense of the art gets what's written in as a Robustified chapter. You just don't see them as, you just rather know them as chapters. They're not Robustified. Hannah and Ramirez, yeah, Ramirez would get crunched in that romance. No way. No, he couldn't handle Hannah. No. A new weapon is Hannah's love. That would be, yes, that would make more sense, Rebecca. A new weapon, like a bigger axe, or an axe that has more abilities or something, or a piece of armor, that would be more in line with Hannah. Why didn't the Mark of Kali mantle go to Dira because she didn't kill him? It requires death. So it's not just defeating him, it's killing him. That's why, and it has to be done in Dira's mind and in the protocol of its successor. It has to be done honorably. But if you see how Dira is going, the honor aspect is she's kind of tossed that out the window, right? So we'll see what happens with that as Nemesis progresses. Heather says, when I read Rag's concern, I thought of the last time Peaches got wet, and considering that water is far from clean. Peaches says do a bath. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So there you go. He's due a bath really quickly. So yes. So yeah, the Mark of Kali the mantle has to be passed. You have to defeat and kill the current Mark of Kali to get the mark. If you're a successor, you have to kill the current Mark of Kali, which is what Dira's been trying to do. And they dropped a building on her. Now, granted, the building was a Tate and deserved to be dropped on her, but still, Oh, and Mark Rollinson went to Liverpool. So he's in Liverpool on vacation. There's a Tate in the Liverpool. He sent me pictures. It's just as hideous as the one off the Thames. It's ridiculous. So I don't know what it is with the Tate people. I think they deliberately designed these buildings to make them horrendous and in need of renovation. So I think the guys are going to have to pay a visit to Liverpool now. So there you go. Jeanette, you're very welcome. I think it's important for writers to be able to see the process of, how they say how the sausage is made. I wish I had that opportunity when I was coming up as a writer. I didn't, the process. There were several books written, like Stephen King's On Writing, and there were some books by Ray Bradbury, the Zen of Writing, which is really good, and some by other authors. But it's not the same as being able to ask questions and like, hey, how do you do this, and how do you do that, and why do you do this, and so forth. So if you ever have any questions about your writing process, and we're not doing a Kaffeeklatsch, just DM me and send me a message, and I'll try to answer it as best as I can. Anthony says, okay, we need the M&S After Dark section on the future website for Hannah Erotic. Yeah, okay, that's never, ever happening. Wait. Who had the mark? This is Anthony. Who had the mark of Cali for Simon? I don't remember if that was ever called out. It was never called out. That's a really good question. Make note, Jeanette. That could be a red shirt competition question. Who had the mark of Cali before Simon? That's an excellent question. I'm not going to tell you here, but yes, someone did have it. You guys come up with really great questions. Okay, so let me get to Frozen Fire real quick. I'm doing updates. So Nemesis, again, if you have any questions, statements, comments about Deadeye / Nemesis, just put it up there and we'll discuss. Frozen Fire's book 3. It's romance. Can I call it romance light? It's romance light right now. We're doing the enemies part of enemies to lovers. I'm definitely doing the enemies to lovers trope. So we're doing the enemies part. I won't tell you what Frozen Fire is, but it's the central premise of the story, and a really good title, I think. So it'll be out soon, and then you can see for yourself if there's any romance in there somewhere deep within the story. Jeanette says, I love the ongoing attempts at Tate destruction. Yeah, the Tate structure. I like that. The Tate structure. That's good. I think we're going to have to go to Liverpool. I saw that building, and I don't know if they're just targeting old factories to renovate them into these museums, but they're going to have to do better. And so the pictures that Mark sent me, oh my God, horrendous. So I think Simon's going to want to end up near Liverpool, and then we're going to have to renovate that building violently. For Patreon, I'm not going to talk too much about the Patreon, but the Morgan's Man assignment number 2 is out and in progress. I think I'm on part 1 or 2. I'm currently up to like part 5 and still haven't gotten to the actual assignment because we had to do a debrief of part 1. So if you haven't read it and you want to read it, you just become a patron and you'll get on there and you'll get access to the Morgan's Man. I'm having a lot of fun writing them. I feel almost bad for the Morgan who has to deal with Simon. It's wow. It's just wow. And how she doesn't destroy him, amazing. Frozen Fire, Taming of the Flaming Shrew. It's not really that, but yeah, it's close. Divine Hell. So those of you that are waiting for Night Warden stories, Divine Hell will be coming out starting it next month, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at the production schedule. Supposedly next month. Yeah. Or the month like towards the end of next month. Yeah. Mid to the end, depending on how the schedule goes. But Divine Hell is next. Regarding Divine Hell, I'm contemplating not doing a print version, just ebook. You guys let me know, because it's not like M&S where every M&S book is in print, like a paperback. The other books are mostly ebooks, but the M&S stories are all. I'm looking at the library right now. I see every M&S story in front of me is a paperback book. The Night Warden stories, I don't know if the demand is that great that they have to be done in paperback. You guys will let me know, but I'm contemplating just making it an ebook. So that's the next story, and yeah, we get to get a little deeper with Coda and Gray. I love Gray as a character. Gray's such a great character, and he's, you know, he always makes his cameos everywhere, but it's even better when he's in his own story, and he has to deal with Coda and Frank and Cole. And I had a little bit of fun in Brew and Chew with Frank and Cole. So if you read Brew and Chew, you're gonna get a little bit of Frank and Cole, because at the beginning, and I don't want to spoil it, but Frank and Cole is in Brew and Chew. That's all I'm gonna say. You can have fun with that. Don't forget, if you're reading Brew and Chew, please leave your reviews. I know it's a short story. I think Amazon puts it under 2 hour reads or something like that. And it took the #1 slot, which is, you guys are amazing. So thank you, and thank you. You guys are fantastic. But don't forget to leave your reviews. It doesn't have to be a long thing. It doesn't have to be a treatise. Just, hey, I liked it. It was a great story. It was short and I enjoyed it. Things like that. Have fun with it. Nothing long. But again, it nudges the algorithms. And Cold Girl, which is the third book in that trilogy, and Cold Girl is going to lead into, hold on, I'm looking, hold on, into, I think, Dark Flame, which is a M&S book number 33. So it might have to be a little sooner. But Cold Girl leads into the test that she has to take for the Jotna. So it tie in that way. And it's basically her getting ready for her test. And Monty and Simon getting her ready and things happening. And it's still going to be a short story, but it'll be a long, that one might be a novella. So it'll be fun. Let's see. Jeanette says, my reading rate is lower than normal. It's hard to read and craft at the same time, but I'm needing to keep my hands busy working complex patterns to keep the depression. I'm glad that you found something that will help you keep that depression at bay. Complex patterns are great for that. So that's awesome. And yeah, take your time reading. There's no rush. Take your time. What does Heather say? Heather says Cole needs to have a soundproof vault. That's all we can say about that. I can't go any further. Tamara says, you can always start with an ebook and put it on paper. So, yeah, I'm definitely releasing it in ebook, but I just have seen that the demand for the paperback hasn't been that much for the Night Warden stories. So I might leave it as an ebook, and we'll call it a day there. And we'll see if it has to go into paperback, then we can do that later on. But I think I'm just going to leave it as an ebook for now. You know, it's not one of the good things about being in the office that you can always change that if you need to. So that's great. And so yeah, so Cold Girl will be at the end of the year, and then it'll tie into CC's upcoming exam that's going to determine her acceptance into the job now, and what could possibly go wrong there. I mean, really, nothing could go wrong there, especially if she has Monty and Simon involved with Peaches on the side, and Peanut and Kai and Frank. Nothing could go wrong there. Nothing. So how are you all doing? Time, as usual, is flying. It's already 12, almost 12:05. I don't know where the last 30 minutes went. I feel like we just started 2 minutes ago. We're going to have a conversation with Sid about these kind of time compressions. It's out of control. Which reminds me, I have a few stories that I got to kind of flesh out, but I can't get into detail. There's a lot of fun stuff coming. And I'm getting the itch to write my Blackjack crew again. I'm really getting the itch. And I have this weird connection with Jim Ziller of Professor Ziller fame. And he keeps sending me these things that deal with futuristic, like quantum mechanics, but they apply so perfectly to the Blackjack stories. And I'm getting an itch to go right back and kind of bang out one quick Blackjack story. Because we did Death Dancers. I have 6 stories to write in the Blackjack kind of series, and so like 2 trilogy. And I'm really getting that kind of like, I gotta do a Blackjack story soon, you know. A good story. I see Don said a good story could be Nana and Dex bringing up Monty. That would be interesting. Yeah. Anytime I get Nana and Dex together, it's kind of like it needs to be something momentous because it's so powerful. So it needs to be like the last story, the senior citizen story. or they need to be staving off some major destruction. And so the bringing up Monty would be kind of a nice small story, but those two characters demand a much bigger, in-depth story. Like the senior citizen story was the right kind of story for them, and that was considered. I considered that small for them, but it was still a lot of fun to write. Those two characters are just so much fun. Anthony says we need Kickstart for the M&S the Dolly edition, all leather bound, acid-free pages with fully rendered picture plates. Yeah, that would be amazing, and it would also be like you need to really have some really real deep reach goals for all of that. Wendy says pocket dimension outside the top. Yeah, maybe for sure, because that would make the episodes just last for as long as we need them to. Thomas says, I'm waiting for the Morgan to have a conversation with a certain dragon. Yes, that will be a story in itself, Tamra. Especially after the last assignment. There's a story in there. So, but you gotta wait a little while. But yes, that's gonna happen. Jeanette says, have you considered doing signed book platers? Book plates. Oh, okay. I love having autographed books, but getting them shipped from the US seems to be not good. Yeah, I don't know. They don't want to send them all the way out there for some reason. I'm sorry, Jeanette. Because she's in Australia. She's far. We can do signed book plates. I'm hearing that from the lead designer over here. We can do signed book plates. So, you want me to send her your way? Speak to Dolly, Jeanette. She can do. She knows exactly what you're talking about. Rebecca, short stories to what? I know you're meaning short stories in addition, but also meaning what, Rebecca? You gotta expand that just a little bit for me to understand what's happening there. Yeah, so there are a few stories that need to be done. There is going to be a story with the Morrigan having to deal with Kai and what happened, and there's also, if you remember that assignment, there's the consequence, and that's going to be a story too, because Simon's got to learn, and someone's got to teach, right? Okay. Yeah, that would be dangerous for Simon. So Jeanette saying, I'm imagining the comments that Simon would make, taking his life in his own hands as he makes snarky comments about baby Monty. Yeah, no, that would be bad. Short stories to explain family history of Simon. Oh, that's going to be fun. It's going to take a little while. So if you've noticed, there haven't been many books discussing Simon's backstory. Requiem was the first time we really got to see a little bit behind the scenes about Simon's life before he met Monty. And Deadeye expanded on that just a bit. But there are a few stories. The next story, which is Dark Flame, that one's kind of really opening up Simon's past. Because the Dark Flame, the one who uses Dark Flame is Simon. But there's going to be repercussions from him using Dark Flame, because the book after Dark Flame is Dark Mage. So you can make of that what you will. So, but in Dark Flame, which is book 30, I have the list over there. Book 33, yeah, 33. Geez, even my glasses looks a little too small. Book 33, that's where we get to see even more of Simon's past. So you don't have to wait on a few books. We're already up to book 29, right? Nemesis is 29? Yeah, so we're almost at 30. That's good. The next book, Chaos Rising. Wow. Yeah. Nemesis is going to be a roller coaster. Chaos Rising is like we're going into orbit. It's going to be crazy. I'm with you on that one, Jeanette. Okay. I'm just going to blanket statement. I really enjoy reading the stories after I've written them. And Dolly always gives me this look like, didn't you write this? But there's some stories that I read and I'm like, I get lost into it. And usually when I'm doing research, because I have to kind of make sure that we have no conflict in terms of the story. So continuity issues, I got to make sure that everything's kind of straight and make sure that nothing's too tangled. So on occasion, I'll have to do homework and read like Requiem. Like for Deadeye, I had to read Requiem just to kind of shadow company stuff straight and make sure that it was, when I incorporated it into Deadeye, I didn't make some weird mistakes like with Douglas and things like that, you know. But I really liked reading Requiem again, and it was weird because Requiem was a few years ago when I wrote it, if I'm not mistaken. But it was fun reading it again. Yeah. Anthony asked, does Simon ever hang out at his Hades time? Not yet, but he has to go visit Hades in regards to Peaches. So when he does, he'll go and hang out at his timeshare. Yes, his timeshare. Janessa says, letting this group make of it what we will is kind of thing. Yeah, I know, but that's what makes our group so awesome. Enid wants to know, when are we getting Michiko back in the story? Oh, okay. Book 31, Paper Dragons. You're gonna have Michiko comes back. It's gonna be a bloody entrance, and she comes back with Byako. I don't know if you remember. If you guys read Rule of the Council, you know who Byako is. And even she's an Iker too. Byako. Byako's a kick-ass character. So she comes back full force, and actually she comes back full force in Chaos Rising because she joins up with Simon. But then the next book, Paper Dragons, is really centered around Michiko and more Blood Hunter craziness. So yes, because remember that she leaves the Dark Council so she can deal with the Blood Hunter threat. But the way that Michiko deals with the threat is not necessarily the way everyone else wants to deal with the threat. Michiko deals with the threat by removing it. And everybody wants to be kind of diplomatic. And you know how tact and diplomacy work with Simon and Monty. It doesn't really. So Michiko's going to go on a rampage, and the Blood Hunters are going to be answering in kind. So that's Paper Dragons so Byako comes in also, and it's going to be pretty. That's going to be a lot of fun. And Michiko hasn't been in a book in a while, so she's kind of been behind the scenes, kind of doing things. And you're going to find out what she's been up to, who she's been speaking to. It's going to be like Michiko's going to be like, kill everybody. That's basically Michiko's new mantra is everybody dies. That's basically it. Oh, the spoiler for Michiko is in Paper Dragons. I'll tell you this now because it's 2 books away, but I'll tell you this now. She's gonna get to the point where she may not need a Day Strider armor. That's all I can tell you. That's it. But Byako, yes, that's the way you spell Byako. And Byako's kick-ass. I love Byako's character. She was a throwaway character in the sense of I was only gonna put her in 1 book, and she wasn't gonna really be developed. But she ran away with the story, and it was like, oh no, she's got to be in more stuff. She's got to do more. She's like the perfect second to Michiko. It's incredible. Yeah, dust them all and make sandcastles, exactly, or dust them all and break out the vacuum cleaner. That's it. So Michiko's not taking any prisoners in Paper Dragons, and that's why it's called Paper Dragons. There's a reason why it's called Paper Dragon. If you know what a Paper Dragon is, you'll get the reference. But that's book 31. Let me make sure. Yeah, book 31. Then after that, it's, can I tell you? Phantom Pain. If you know what a Phantom Pain is, yeah, there's a mage out there. I can't tell you anymore. This Phantom Pain is after. I'm sorry, I hate to tease you guys. I'm not teasing you, really. Is that I'm really excited about the stories that are coming, and I have to kind of temper that excitement because we're still doing Nemesis. And Nemesis, the moment the guys get back to New York City, yikes. That's all I have to say. Let's just say, I'll tell you this. The moment the guys get back to New York City in Nemesis, the Randy Rump is destroyed. Again. That's all I can say. Yeah, throwaway characters that become awesome. I have a few of those. Ike was a throwaway character. Michiko was Byako was a throwaway character. It's incredible. It's amazing. Anthony says, so does that mean the loss of Dayshide armor mean the addition of birth control? Maybe that, no, not happening. No, sorry. This is not that kind of book, Anthony. You need your M&S After Dark editions for those. Yeah, she's gonna go Scorched Earth because she's tired of dealing with the Blood Hunters. So it's like, if I can't negotiate with you, I'm gonna eliminate you. That's basically Michiko's policy. That's her idea of that tact and diplomacy. Michiko understands ultimate diplomacy. After all, diplomacy is the art of saying nice doggy while reaching for the weapon behind. Exactly. That's her method, Jedi. That's what she does. Like, don't forget that she's also really, really old, and she knows she's faced enemies like crazy. She faced a lot of enemies, and she's still here to talk about it. So she's not exactly like the thing about Michigo was like when I paired her up with Gray, that was kind of the perfect pairing in terms of a story. Because Gray is old and devious. So is Michigo. She's just not as overt about it as Gray is. But she gave Simon Evansol for a reason, which still has not been revealed. So yeah. Does James get to join in the fight this time? James. Who's James? Who's James? I think you may want to expand on that, Wendy. James? You mean Jimmy the Butcher? Oh. Jimmy the Butcher, if he gets involved in a fight, I feel bad for Jim the Butcher. Because he wants to help, but he's also leading a neutral zone area, like a null area. And the argument could be said that Gray does the same thing, but Gray is also a night warden, so he kind of has to go out into the streets, right? James doesn't have to go out into the streets. What he kind of has to do is be that bastion for people who have nowhere to go and they need sanctuary somewhere, and the Randy Rump is that place. So for him to go out into battle, he's no longer really neutral if that happens, right? He's no longer the proprietor of a neutral zone if he goes out and takes up a fight on behalf of Monty and Simon. He can't say I'm neutral. And that's why he never goes out to fight, because he has to remain, like the Randy Rump, he has to remain neutral. So you want to think about Jimmy in the larger context. Think about Jimmy like Rick from Rick's Cafe. You know, I stick my neck out for no one. So Jimmy helps, but to go out into a fight, a battle, an all-out battle, is more than just helping. It's you're letting go of your neutrality. You're saying, I'm on Simon's side, I'm on Monty's side. And that's not a demonstration of neutrality. And Jimmy has to maintain that demonstration of neutrality, or the Randy Rump ceases to be a neutral zone. That's the thing. Yeah. So that's why he wants to go, and he's always turned down. Saying, nope, you can't go because the Randy Rump needs you. Yeah. No, welcome, Jennifer. It's okay. Watch it as that. Yeah, sometimes balancing stuff sucks. It does, and Jimmy is a powerful creature in terms of he's a werebear and he could really fight. But I'll put it to you like this: the moment Jimmy gets involved in a fight, you know that the story is pretty much. You'll have to see if that happens. Then the 10 are somewhere in the neighborhood, because it has to be that dire that they say, "Okay, Jim, we're gonna need your help too." It's like there's so many other characters and beings that are stronger than Jimmy that don't require him, that he's not required to go into the fray. He can stay back and provide support. He can stay back and provide a sanctuary. He can stay back and provide a last stand kind of place, you know? So he doesn't need to run into the fights. What his purpose is to provide a sanctuary for people. And then it doesn't matter who they are in terms of what creature, but that's what the Randy Rump is for. Thank you, Kibaki. B, it's a great name, Kibaki. It reminds me of something Korean. Why does it remind me of something Korean, Kibaki? Like food. Now I'm hungry. So there's a lot of stuff coming up, and I'm gonna try and fit more Fate of the Dark Mage. It's always so writing M&S is never a struggle. Writing everything else that's not M&S, that's not directly M&S related, sometimes takes work. Like the Frozen Fire is taking work, but it's only because of the romanticy part. Like I gotta create some. But now that they're enemies, I mean, since they're enemies, I don't have to worry about that so much. It's when they start getting, what is it, the enemies to lovers, the two lovers part is gonna be tough. That's why I say maybe around book 9, 9.5. If there's 10 books, book 9, 9.5, maybe the two lovers part will come up. But before then, it's all enemies. So we'll see. All right, let me get to these questions because I have questions and it's 12:40. Sid. 12:20. Yeah, I gotta get. I'm looking at the 4. I always say 12:40. 12:20. Okay, let me get to the questions because it's time to get to the questions. All right, hold on. Yes, we work. I don't know how we do it. You know, like if I ever want anything to go fast, I just gotta do a Kaffeeklatsch, and time just. It's like I was watching Neil deGrasse Tyson explaining gravity and how gravity, a black hole, how it warps time and space around it. And the Kaffeeklatsch is basically us creating this black hole of community, and we just create and warp time around it. So Audrey's questions. So thank you for all the questions. As always, you guys are amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate the questions. They make our episodes fantastic. Audrey asks, have you ever gone to your high school reunion? I don't know if my high school had a reunion. I mean, it's way overdue for one, but I've never gone to a high school reunion. So, and I've never saw an invitation for a high school reunion, and I don't even know if I'd go to a high school reunion. Like high school was so long ago for me, like ages and ages and ages ago. I graduated high school in 1984. 1984. My God, so long ago. So yeah, I don't know if I'd go back. I probably wouldn't recognize anyone anyway. So yeah. But no, I've never gone to one. I've never had an invitation to one, and even if I did have one, I don't know if I'd go because in high school, although I had a lot of friends, I was kind of a strange child, and I had a close circle of about 3 good friends. One of them passed away in high school, and that splintered our group. He was hit by a bus, and his death kind of ruptured the group. And ever since that, I said we don't communicate. I haven't communicated with anyone from high school. I communicated more with people from junior high school than high school, but from high school, not really. Um, so, not to be a downer, but that's the reason why that happened. Have I ever gotten reader's block? That's interesting. I've never heard of reader's block. What is reader's block? Wow, Don, you graduated way before me. Um, Can Audrey, can you explain what reader's block is to me? Because I've never heard of this term. Readers. Anyone know what reader's block is? Like, is it you can't read something, or you can't read books? I've never heard of this, so I can't say if I've ever gotten it. I've never had a problem reading books or reading in general, but that's an interesting concept, reader's block. So, if you could explain it to me, that'd be great. Since they all went to school uphill in the snow, fighting bears while tagging buses and buildings blindfolded. Uphill both ways. And actually, this is really, I thought it's going to be rolling her eyes at me. Actually, I went to school, and my school was situated where you had to go. There was this train track situation. So there was a hill. It was a crazy hill. And when I was going to the school, there were no handrails on the hill. It was just the hill. And from my side of the neighborhood to get to the school side, I had to go uphill and then downhill. But then from the school to get back, it was uphill and down. So I can actually say, when I went to school, I had to walk in the snow and ice. And when that hill got icy, it was treacherous. And it was uphill both ways. All right. Jeanette says, for me, high school was that time where I spent much time in the library. Yeah, I read The Stand a few times when I was in high school. People looked at me weird because I was reading Stephen King, one. Two, The Stand was about the size of an encyclopedia, and I would bring it to school to read, in addition to all the other books that I would have to carry. So I was strange. They considered me strange. In addition to everything else I was reading sci-fi, horror, everything. Heather says, reader's block, being unable to have a book hold your attention or find a book that interests you. Oh, when you can't, I'll just tell you, when you just can't get it. Yeah, I don't have reader's block. You know my process. If the first line doesn't hook me, I try to be gracious. First line doesn't hook me, I give it the first paragraph. First paragraph doesn't hook me, I give it the first page. The first page doesn't hook me, I give it the first chapter. If the first chapter doesn't hook me, I'm reading another book. There are too many books, and life is actually kind of short for me not to be hooked into a book. So first line, which every author should strive to make that first line amazing. First paragraph, again, the first paragraph gets me to read if the first paragraph, okay, first page, and if the first page, first chapter, and the first chapter doesn't grab me by the first chapter, it's then I make the assumption that the book isn't for me if the first chapter doesn't grab me. I know people who say, oh no, but the book gets better later on, or you got to give it a chance. No, I got too many books to read. My TBR is insane. So if it doesn't grab me like from the beginning, and I know it could be, maybe I'm setting the bar a little high, but time is our only commodity that's non-renewable. So it's an important resource to have. So if I'm going to read something, it needs to be good. If I'm not reading, I should be writing. So it's that kind of thing. So if I'm going to read something, it better be good. That's all. And that's my standard. It doesn't have to be everyone's standard. But yeah, first line, first paragraph, first page, first chapter. After that, I'm out. If it doesn't capture me. This, as always, has been a blast. Still dealing with AWS outage. Yeah, it's been crazy, Anthony. Have a great weekend. It's great to see you. Thank you for dropping by. And thank you for your comments on Patreon. That's fantastic. I keep saying you should write, Anthony. Jeanette says, or as reader's block for me is not being able to settle into anything. Well, yeah, I kind of guess that's the same thing when you just can't get into a book that's reader's block. I never heard it described as reader's block. That's a great way of kind of wrapping your head around that concept. Okay, next question. What does literary success look like to you? Oh, all right. I guess I'm kind of living literary success. People reading my stories. That's basically that. I mean, if you ask any writer, author, to drill down into what it means to be successful as an author, besides the notoriety and the monetary, aspect of it, I think at its core, the bottom line is a writer wants or an author wants someone to read their stories. That's success. So I already have that, which is awesome. Literary success is basically having the stories read, whether it's in book form, whether it's in posts, that's literary success. Now you could add the whole getting known. I like the author fame because author fame, you stay anonymous as an author, which is pretty cool. That's great. Author fame basically means you can walk the streets and nobody knows who you are, which is awesome. It's not like movie star fame where people know if you're in a movie and people know who you are, you really can't go. Your private life ceases to be private after a while. And I like my private life. So author fame is good, And I've had people say, I've read this story, that story, mostly online. I have never had anyone walk up to me and go, oh, Monty and Strong. No, that's never happened. And I don't think that's ever going to happen. So, yeah. But that's what literary success looks like to me as an author, having people read the stories and enjoying them. I mean, you don't want them to read them and hate the stories, but reading the stories and enjoying them and having the stories impact readers' lives, which I've had plenty of feedback in that regard. I've had people tell me, I was reading a story and I got to escape my life for a few hours, and thank you for that. Or I was on a train and I was reading a story and I started laughing out loud and people thought I was crazy. Or I was reading a story and I was up all night thanks to you and your story. And no author is sorry about keeping a reader up all night. Whatever they tell you, I'm here to tell you the truth. We love that. We love that you have to stay up all night. Just one more chapter. That's exactly what we want, for sure. So that's literary success. If I can keep you up all night because you need to get to the next chapter to find out what happens, that's success. That's amazing and that's fun. And I love it when authors do it to me. What did I read recently that I read like that? Oh, I read the latest Steve McHugh book. I gotta go tell him because I speak to Steve every so often. His last story kept me up. I was like, I devoured that story. He does have a questionable dog character in there called Church. I have to have some words with Steve about that. So, yeah. All right, Chris Christmas says, and this is for Dolly. Bruin Chew stars 2 young girls. Dolly, what dating advice would you give to young girls?
Lots of advice.
Lots of advice.
Well, I'd say I think parents should, or responsible adults should teach young girls how to read between the lines and listen between the lines of what I'd say what men say, but it's not, just heterosexual relationships, I guess.
Yeah.
So to be able to deconstruct any rhetoric that they use, to identify red flags to be okay with ending something immediately when they can recognize these red flags, not become emotionally attached, and to use their brains as much as their hearts, to not be, overly invested and making something to be more than what it actually is in their minds.
That's really good advice.
Thanks. There's also more.
I'm sure there's a lot more, but
Yeah.
that's kind of the condensed version, but it's really solid. That's really solid.
And to find somebody that they're compatible with on many levels,
I agree.
emotionally, intellectually, politically,
Yeah, that's
financially.
important. Yeah.
Love, when people say love is everything, you can live on love and fresh air and love conquers all, it's actually not true. When you're in a committed relationship, in a marriage, it takes a lot more to sustain a relationship, to keep it going, to keep it alive year after year. And feelings are just not enough.
You
You
need
need
more.
to be, you need to find a common ground on very essential things, like how are you going to manage careers? How are you going to, where do you want to live? What kind of life do you foresee? What do you want to do in your retirement years? How do you manage your monies? What do you deem worthy expenses? What's not? Right. So there are lots of, I think a lot of these questions have to be figured out before
you get into something
into something serious.
Yeah.
I think that's the mistake a lot of couples do. They rush into something and then
they regret it.
And then they start figuring out huge questions like, oh, do you want to have kids? And find out the partner, I don't want to have kids. Oh, I do.
Yeah.
And now 3 years in, they either settle and try to change the other person, or they're miserable.
Yeah. Deep answer there.
Thank you.
That was really good. Let's see, we've been together how long now? 20 years. So she has a little bit of experience with that. Just in case you needed to know how long she's been with me, dealing with me, 20 years. Fantastic answer. Jennifer Jones says, you and Jim Butcher are the only writers who can keep me up all day. Oh, wow. Thank you, Jennifer, and great company. Jim is releasing a new book next year, 12 months. Not 12 months from now. The name of the book is called 12 Months, and it's coming out next year. I'm like, really? But then I remember he's traditionally published, and traditional publishing doesn't let them release whenever they want to. They have a set schedule when books next year. So thank you for placing me in fantastic company. I like Jim Butcher too. I've spoken to him a few times also, but we're not like blood. All right, Jeanette says, now I need a story of someone having to run the gauntlet of Monty and Simon as some person comes to take Cece. That's never. Who would want to take Cece on a date with Rags there? Peanut's gonna be there. Peanut and Kai is gonna be there. It's gonna have to be a very daring person to try and take Cece on a date. Yeah. Yeah, the training usually helps mitigate the hormone input, but I find that works more with girls than with boys. Boys, the hormones make their brains mush. Yeah. Jeanette says, love in marriage is about supporting your partner. Growing together is wonderful, but you need to remember to work on your marriage. Else it will fail. Yes. Marriage is work. If you think love is all, it's good to have love, but you gotta be willing to work to keep that marriage going. You're gonna have many times where things might implode, and you have to be willing to make the choice. Marriage is a choice, and it's a choice you make every day. Just like love. Love is a choice too, and you make that choice every day. So it's nice to have that concept of, oh, we love each other, so everything's gonna be okay and everything's gonna work out. And for the most part, that's true, because love can conquer many things, but you also have to be willing to make the conscious choice of, this is the person I want to share my life with, and this is the person I want to grow old with, and I don't want to look for anyone else. I'm gonna make this work. And so it's great to have love, but it's just as important to have commitment. And this is probably why I can't write fantasy, romance, romantasy. I can do enemies though. I can definitely do enemies. 37 years is a long time, Jeanette. Congratulations. Yeah. Marriage is teamwork. Yeah. It's you have to when you get married with someone, here's the train of thought. My life is going to be better with this person than without them. And then you make it work that way. That's it. It's really that simple. I'm making a conscious choice because I feel and I believe that my life is better with this person in my life than without them. And so I'm going to work towards making that a possibility always and growing old with them, despite or in spite of any flaws they may have. Because guess what? You come with flaws too, and you come with your imperfections. And so you got to be able to overlook the flaws that aren't monumental, the same way that person has to overlook the flaws in you. And that's how you make the team, you know, that's how you make it work. You accept them as they are without trying to change them. Because if you try to change a person, very rarely does it work. People have to want to change. You can't force people to change. You can help them and point out what you may not be okay with, but they still have to want to change. You can't make them change. You know? Howdy, Ravens Lair. Welcome. Don says I was married 49. Wow, that's a long time, Don. Wow. Love is your husband reading to you to help you get to sleep. Yeah. I mean, there's so many expressions of love that embody that commitment and teamwork. When you start out, it's very, as I say, honeymoon phase. But as you get older and you go through trials and difficulties, you start realizing that there has to be something more than just I'm madly in love. You know, it has to be more. It has to be deeper than that. Madly, madly in love, not melon in love. All right, next question before we end because we're almost done. Chris asks, this is Chris's second question. When was the last time you dressed up for Halloween? I can't remember. I must have been a kid because it's been that long. Yeah. Even when I was younger, I didn't ever dress up for Halloween. I was going around throwing eggs at people or TPing houses, or we were really mean. So we would we would use Nair instead of shaving cream and hit people with Nair. And Nair is a hairy one, a really brutal one. So we would have like Halloween wars. I mean, we would save eggs. We would bury eggs for a year because we couldn't leave them in the house. If your mom found the eggs, she'd throw them out. So we would find a place, and there was a bunch of us, like 15, 20 of us. We would bury eggs for a year. So that when we took them out the following year for the following Halloween, they were rank as heck. They would smell so bad. So that when you hit someone with one of those eggs, it wasn't only the sting of getting hit with the egg, but you stunk the whole night. Like it was horrible. That's how what nice children we were. And then for the Nair thing, you would put Nair in your hand and then you go like that on someone's head and then you would squish it in and then people would lose hair. That's how Halloween was we had rough Halloweens here. Rough Halloween. And because we had blocks.
You couldn't do that.
No,
Just
no.
guys,
We did it to
the Nair
guys.
thing.
We did it to other guys. We didn't do it to other we know girls. We knew girls. Even back then when we were young, we knew girls were very touchy about their hair. We wouldn't do that to girls. We would do that to other guys. Yeah, yeah. The girls we left alone. We wouldn't hit them with eggs. There was a bunch of guys just going out being rambunctious, rough boys against other blocks that had groups of boys, and then we would have war. It was basically war. We got eggs at each other, near. It was rough. It was like, yeah, it wasn't like we were fighting, but we were throwing eggs. And we had a group of us who would not bury eggs for a year. They would hard boil the eggs first, then bury them for a year. So when they hit you with those eggs, eggs, when they hit you, they just break. And then, but if it's a hard boiled egg, that's like throwing a rock, a smelly, stinky rock. So it's bad. Yeah. So I haven't dressed up for Halloween since the Halloween wars of my youth. prior, like maybe when I was little, like tiny, but I didn't have that kind of youth. I didn't have the trick or treat kind of thing. I think all the kids trick or treating, but I always dressed up as dad. So, what's your costume? Dad. That's my costume. That's it. So yeah, listen, we TP'd houses, we climbed fences, we broke windows. I mean, we did so many bad things as children, and we never really paid the consequences for that because we were fast. So we would do things and run. Listen, Ravens there says, no, we weren't nice children. Yeah, we're that generation where we were like, listen, if you saw my group of friends coming down the street on Halloween, it was too late for you if you saw us because no one was safe, and especially those who were designated our enemies. Oh, forget it. We ran into their territory to dole out justice, and we would wait. Like if you did something to one of us, and we couldn't get you back right away, we'd say, "Don't worry, October's coming," because we knew on Halloween night we were gonna all accounts would be settled. So yeah, we were bad. We were a generation that you couldn't do what we did in our youth today. You just couldn't do that. Yeah, we were dangerous, dangerous kids. Yeah, basically we were wild children, wild boys. But we did draw lines. We did not near girls. But we had girls in our squad that would near boys. Just so that you know how bad we were. My sister was, if I was bad, my sister was as bad or worse because she knew that if someone tried to touch her or beat up on her or anything, she had all the guys protecting her. So she would just go out and do things that she should not have been able to get away with. Not to mention that she's a badass in her own right. So she was scary. My sister was scary. She's still scary, but she was scary when we were young. Yeah. All right, let's end on that fantastic note. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. I had so much fun today. You guys are great. Our Kaffeeklatsch episodes, they always make me want to have a place that we can all just hang out and hang out together. And yeah, that's where I get those ideas. Those ideas are from my youth. And I really do one day would love to have our Peaches Con and just have a moment where we can hang out and just talk stories, talk characters, talk life. Basically, what we do here. I want to thank those of you who submitted questions. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the questions and the questions that were in the show itself, in the episode. You guys think up some fantastic things. I haven't been stumped yet, but boy, you guys get close. So some of these questions, I'm like, wow. So have a great weekend. So you know my 3 Bs, right? Be kind, because it doesn't cost you anything to be kind. So be kind. Sometimes you never know what kind of day someone's going through, and they just may need to hear a word of kindness or a gesture of kindness. So try to be kind as much as you can. Be unstoppable, because the only person that can really stop you is you. So don't let anyone stop you. If you have to do something, you want to get something done, you have a goal, the only one that can stop you is you. And be uncommon, because there's only one of you on this planet and one of you that I know of in this universe. So you're unique and amazing and fantastic and incredible. Embrace that and be uncommon. There's only one of you. Like I tell my kids, there's only one of you. So enjoy that and be that, and don't let anyone tell you how you should be. Be uncommon. Be uncommon amongst the uncommon. There you go. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. I know it's getting cold in some places, so dress warm and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you on November 7th is the next Kaffeeklatsch. I'm sure we'll be speaking a lot between now and then. I hope by that time Frozen Fire is out so we can talk about Frozen Fire and non-romanticy that I'm writing. Have a great weekend, all of you. Let's get some music going. I'm gonna take my scary face off